a pocket watcher or nothing like that, but these influencers make way too much money. Like, there has to be some type of, like, something to stop this shit.
One of the main problems of this argument and this conversation is that you can directly feel and see how much somebody is making for something that you can easily do, picking up your phone, making a video, that you just can't do it yet. I'll never get on the internet and be mad at somebody else for being able to generate money.
I understand what you're saying, especially being a nurse and then also being a content creator. There's a wealth gap. There's a very large wealth gap. There's no way that I go to work and I'm in charge of multiple people's lives and, you know, I get paid X amount of money and then I can also be a content creator and post a 30-second video and make my whole year's salary as a nurse. That's crazy.
They're all posting the same shit. Y'all are not different. Y'all are not influencing nothing. Y'all are just copying other people. Y'all don't even go to Pilates because you want to go to Pilates. You go to Pilates because it's trending.
This is part of the problem with like people who are looking at business models, because if you're going to be successful at content, then you have to understand business to an extent. The truth is everybody copies everyone. Everybody. Go to your local grocery store. You have a bunch of different grocery stores in your area. But for some reason, there's one particular one because of certain attributes, the way that it's laid out, the atmosphere that you prefer than the other one. What do you value? Is it lower prices? Do you value more luxury feel? Do you value your health? And so you go to places more organic options. And so things never really look that different. From a glance, they're typically the same, and there's small differences that draw you to that particular person, service, business, so on and so forth, which is also why being transparent and open is sort of a huge unlock for people who want to get into content, because no one can be you. Right? You're unique in a specific way, but there are many people who you just don't know yet who can relate to you.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
There's no way that like influencers make more than doctors.
She's like, influencers have to be stopped.
And that just shows you how much money goes into like advertising and how much people are willing to spend on consumerism. Like, somebody posting a wig review or makeup review can make a company like millions and millions of dollars. So these influencers get their fair pay, like, fair enough. But that shit is not like, that shit is OD. Like, these influencers, like, I'm sorry, like, oh, but she works for her money. She films makeup reviews. It's literally just a makeup review, and I get it. But like, people are in hundreds and thousands of dollars of student loan debt to be doctors, to make sure that your heart can pump in your chest, and you're justifying somebody who literally just puts on mascara to make that much money. Like, that is completely unnecessary. Like, it's never that serious. And I think like a lot of people that want to chase this like influencer lifestyle and like make money off of the internet, like, that's actually very horrible. Like, it's no better than just being a like capitalist. Like, you're just getting paid to sell people shit that they don't need.
What's wrong with being a capitalist? Listen, first off, I think this is not a very honest video. Are there influencers that make a lot of money? Yes, there's a lot of money in the business of content creation. However, most influencers aren't really making that much money. I'll be a little bit transparent here. I knew that there was money in content creation, for example, for myself, but I did not know that it was as lucrative as it was. Now, as I got to become more of an experienced content creator, I start to realize that you can make a lot of money doing content. For me personally, I've always been into entrepreneurship. That's been my goal, right? Business. I started the Shopify thing. I've done many things before I've done content, which is kind of why right now I'm really proud of the fact that I got rid of all my sponsors. And, you know, with fathershaverights.com, which I plan to invest more into that, to be a hub for men in general to have more legal information. I plan to expand with more than just prenups. I plan to incorporate AI. Like, I actually enjoy business, but I didn't know how much money people make in content creation. But like I said earlier, most content creators don't actually make as much money as you think they do. Why? Because in order to make the type of money that she's talking about, then and people don't like to hear this, then you have to work very hard. Now, I know. People are going to say, are you trying to say that what you do is hard work? No, I don't think that being a content creator is the hardest job in the world at all, guys. I get it. I feel very privileged to be able to do what I do. I understand that. However, and this is the bitter truth, and most content creators will never tell you this. I never talk about this stuff. But for the content creators who are earning more than doctors, they are really working hard. As in, it's not what you think. They take what they do very seriously. They mostly do nothing but content. They strategize very seriously. They have teams that you will probably never meet. If they don't have teams, then they have skill sets that they've improved on, that they've worked on, so that they don't have to outsource that labor, you know. And so if you're somebody who's like, how do I get my channel to perform better? And this is some advice to you. Chances are that people are able to grow their brand and social media presence. And I don't know why I've gone into giving advice, but here I am. They take everything seriously. They take everything seriously, and they're constantly looking at their analytics, right? And I mean everything from their thumbnail, everything from the titles of their videos. They're incorporating AI, and some people don't want to incorporate AI, right? They don't want to do that. And that's the other thing too, is that you have to know how to look over what you're doing, make it fresh, consistently keep people interested in the type of content you're doing. Again, I don't know why I've gone into a motivational speech for content creators, but you know, things are always changing, and the good creators are able to juxtaposition without compromising your values and beliefs, right? You don't want to sell yourself to the algorithm, because some people definitely do that, but algorithms are always changing. People's interests are always changing. You have to be vulnerable, right? And there gets to a point where some people just aren't able to grow because they're not willing to either do the work, or they can't catch those changes quick enough. That's when the competitive hard work comes in, and you have to pay attention. And for a lot of people, the goal is content creation full time, and people just usually don't take strategy and content seriously. FathersHaveRights.com is the sponsor of this channel, where our expert attorney put it plainly. Every marriage ends. Yes, every marriage ends. It ends in death, or it ends in divorce. That's why people have a will, life insurance, and that's why you should have a prenup. It's not about expecting the worst. It's about being responsible enough to prepare just in case. And if you're engaged, proposing, or soon to be married, click the link pinned to the top of the comment section to take the first step. Don't wait. Join the hundreds of future husbands protecting their marriages the right way.
It's literally just overconsumption, and that shit is actually really fucked up, because so many people are chasing like beauty standards or whatever the case may be. So they'll buy and buy and buy and buy, trying to be more beautiful. But it's like, you're just, I don't know, it's like perpetuating this cycle that's really keeping us trapped. Like, I don't know, like people really will gain it's I don't know. And the crazy part about it is that like these influencers will go and spend and do all this lavish shit, because that's what gets them views. People are literally spending and spending and spending and spending money just so that they can get views. Like, it's people who literally have to go like, it's crazy, because that's horrible. Like, your content is dependent on you going into debt, potentially. Like, you have to spend more and more and more money for views. Like, that keeps you trapped in a circle and a cycle too. Like, there's just so much.
But that's just a bad business model. I don't get what she's talking about. All this content stuff becomes simply understood when you truly understand what it means to live in an attention economy. If you wonder why content creators get paid so much, it simply just comes down to attention. Advertisers will pay wherever people's eyeballs are at. For instance, here on YouTube, outside of sponsorship deals or products someone may have, the only way they would make money is through sharing revenue from advertisers with YouTube. And so it's not that these people think that they're worth thousands and thousands of dollars. It's that the companies believe the attention they're getting is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're the ones who are throwing money into marketing so that they could market to the people on the platform. And this has always existed. It's like real estate in a really nice area. And the real estate here is the coffee pot, right? People like coming here. They like spending time here. They like watching videos, right? At least some people do. And enough people like that they're willing to spend their money here, apparently, because my channel, for as long as it lasts, is in good standing with YouTube when it comes to revenue.
Better things to do with your money. And like, if you're an influencer and you have that much money that you're pulling in for and I'm sorry, quite frankly, doing nothing, because like your niche is things that we don't need. Like, we don't need like makeup tutorials. We need food, water, and shelter, and people don't have that. And it's like, I don't know, I just feel like if you were an influencer and you're making millions, like plus, like I'm talking about multi-million dollars, like, you do not need that much
Every quarter, there's a group of individuals that get on the internet talking about influencers get paid too much, this, that, the third. It's such a disingenuous conversation for two reasons. One, it's always somebody wanting to become a content creator and influencer. And
That's
two,
a good point.
if a brand got in your email right now, $50,000 for 3 videos, you would never turn that down. The term influencer be people up for a lot of reasons. Let's break a couple down. First off, an influencer is an entrepreneur, a high-level sales rep, a damn marketing agency, and an ad company all in one. We also live in a capitalistic society, meaning that this society is driven by consumer spending. So if I was a company, let me find a way to make an investment in something and get a return. If I could pay Susie the influencer with 1.5 million followers $50,000, and that's going to generate $2 million worth of revenue, why the wouldn't I do it?
Well, the thing that people don't get is that the advertisement spending is going to go somewhere. In this case, the influencers are that somewhere. That's just the state we're living in right now. Now, I do think there's a conversation to be had about what happens when people who are able to leverage AI, because if you're not incorporating AI or if you're not learning, then you're going to compete against a system that studies every single aspect of videos, and they will know how to pretty much take over whole audiences. Like, that's coming. It's something to think about.
One of the main problems of this argument and this conversation is that you can directly feel and see how much somebody is making for something that you can easily do, picking up your phone, making a video, that you just can't do it yet. I'll never get on the internet and be mad at somebody else for being able to generate money. That doesn't even make sense. The worst part about this conversation is when somebody says, influencer makes this amount of money, but our teachers are this, that, the third, they make this. Fenty Beauty doesn't have to pay teachers. Topicals, Macy's, whoever doesn't have to pay teachers. They're trying to generate money for their own business. Influencer rates, influencer brand deals, influencer marketing. This is all an investment to generate a profit for said company.
Well, I still think teachers need to get paid more. I've said that before. I think there are a couple of industries that need to get paid more.
How can I ever be mad for a business investing into said creator and then hoping, but probably getting a great return on their investment? Influencer rates, influencer brand deals has nothing to do with how much a teacher, an electrician, a doctor is making. Has no correlation whatsoever, right? The issue is that you see an individual making videos on their phone, getting paid 5 figures, 6 figures, millions of dollars, and you can't replicate that. It's just hating.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a part of that that's hating too. When you start creating content, especially if you make any type of traction, you will have people who say things like, you just do this. And it sounds like an insult, but I've never seen it in that way. When I hear the perspective of the people that say, you just do this, it's not that hard, I'm like, wow, mission accomplished. When I dropped out of the Art Institute, because I was first disturbed how they were talking about, how they would film Korn. Now they have like some huge fraudulent lawsuit where they're returning money to past students, so on and so forth. But I also asked the people around, I said, hey, was this degree worth it? And they all told me not really. And so, I found my own way. And at the place I'm at now, I'm just grateful and thankful, mainly for every subscriber I have and every person who listens, because at the end of the day, I'm just a guy who shares my thoughts, values, what I believe, and who's living life just like you. This commenter here says, like, I hate unnecessary hating. Another person says, it's envy. That's all. Another person here added, always oozing with jealousy, like, bye. Another person says, she blocked me, LOL, and I was respectful with my comment.
There's no reality where I would ever quit my job as a nurse to be on this phone and be in your face 24/7. That just literally won't happen. And I know that influencers are under a lot of flack right now. They're under a lot of heat because they're like, oh, influencers make too much money, blah, 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 blah. I understand what you're saying, especially being a nurse and then also being a content creator. There's a wealth gap. There's a very large wealth gap. There's no way that I go to work and I'm in charge of multiple people's lives and, I get paid X amount of money, and then I can also be a content creator and post a 30-second video and make my whole year's salary as a nurse. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I will say there will never be a time where I will ever quit my job as a nurse and do social media full time. I don't care how much money I make on social media. I will never quit my job as being a nurse, number one, because I love it. Number two, I work too hard. And number three, social media can be here today and gone tomorrow. Okay? I'm just not doing that. I'm not doing that. And it's like, I get what people are saying, like, oh, like I follow this person because they had the same job as me. They were living the same life as me. And it's like, now they posted this video. The video got so many views and now they quit that job. And now all they do is go to Pilates and put 2 pieces of gas in their car. I get it. I get it. But if you don't like that content, you simply do not have to engage. You can unfollow them. You can block them. You can click not interested. You can do all those things. Like TikTok literally makes it so accessible. If you don't like content, literally all you have to do is not engage with it.
I'll also add this. There are a lot of content creators who you guys see who create content that they hate. As someone like myself, my content has had to evolve with my real life. I have had to be honest. When I was just dating and I wasn't married, and I would talk a lot about issues with, going on dates and dealing with women in the dating market, there did get a point in time when I had to decide and say, hey, I can't talk about that as much because I'm not living that life, right? And so my content had to change. And then, when you have different values, there are people who aren't really going to vibe with you like that. And so you're at risk of people maybe not following in that direction. Then there's the offense that you may have when you feel very strongly in. To me, it matters that I can sleep at night knowing that the things I talk about here, I try my best to live, right, in real life. Because again, what could end up happening, aside from just being a slave to the algorithm and having to keep up and pumping out content so that you're maintaining your lifestyle, you can also end up in a situation where you don't like what you're doing and it's not something that speaks to who you truly are. And so there are people who are like, hey, I could invest more into the content thing, but hey, I love my job. I love what I do outside of content creation, which is a win because you don't want to be in a place where you feel like you're a slave to the content and the algorithm. It's not a good place to be at all.
Right? But it's just like, I will never stop posting what I'm doing before work, never what I'm doing during work, because I love that license trust. But like what I'm doing before work, what I'm doing after work, what I'm doing on the weekends, what I'm packing for lunch, a little gym vlog here, a little grocery vlog, a little vacation vlog. I might even throw it in there because at the end of the day, like I like creating content. Now, am I also a content creator that, has partnerships with brands? Absolutely. Because guess what? At the end of the day, your girl got student loans and them folks want their money. Okay. Like I'm gonna have to pay that money back. Trust. But no, I completely get what people are saying because it's like sometimes it's just out of touch and you don't want to look at it. Like there's a creator that I know, like when I was in nursing school, they were also in nursing school, but they ended up blowing up to be this huge figure and I still follow them. Their life isn't relatable to me because we don't live the same life, but I still enjoy seeing their content, like seeing what it spawned into. But it's like, if y'all don't like somebody, disengage.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw a comment recently of somebody who said, I've been watching your content since 21. I guess they were 21 years old. I'm going to assume they're around like 26. And he was like, it's great to hear that you have a kid now and a family. And I think that's just like the wildest thing, man, to know that people have grown with me throughout this time. Let's read a few comments here, see what the people are saying. This comment here says, never quitting my job. Will I cut back? Yep. But I'm not leaving the job I love and work so hard for, and is also what makes me credible on social media. Somebody else here added, I'm always getting asked when I'm doing this full time. Never. Our careers give us so much stability, and I worked so hard, too hard to get here. Plus, I love it. But I do agree that there's a huge gap that needs to be addressed. A huge gap in what? Another person here says, I would never quit my job for this. The reason why I say a huge gap for what is it? Again, you just have to understand what simply happened was instead of these companies sending this money to TV networks, you see a lot of prominent people who were once really big on television who are now getting into the content game. Instead of mainstream media getting all that bread, you can get that bread yourself.
Conversation that's happening online about whether influencers and content creators get paid too much money is a very interesting conversation to me and a genuine conversation that could be had. But it becomes disingenuous when the person or persons who are spearheading a conversation, one, have proof that they were trying to enter the career that they're talking about, two, lack a fundamental understanding of what marketing and digital marketing is, and three, seem to have animosity towards specific content creators and individuals. This conversation is a real one because there were some genuine points that were made, but the delivery of those points were horribly delivered. There's been a democratization of access to digital marketing dollars online due to TikTok. Prior to TikTok, Instagram was not an easy place for people to make content, be seen as valuable, and have a brand buy into that value. We have to understand that influencing and content creation are top-down decisions that are made from corporations who pre-approve marketing budgets. Just say Johnson & Johnson has a $1 billion marketing budget, and they've had that every year. They'll set aside $100 million for non-traditional media, though that's outside of TV spots, outside of magazine ads, outside of billboards, bus signs, signage, and they'll give that to content creators because the person that they're buying into has spent years building up a demographic that these brands can tangibly buy into. So if Johnson & Johnson is pushing someone, Dove, just say Dove, they have XYZ influencers and they're like, okay, cool. This person has 1 million followers or 400,000 followers. A percentage of those people may or may not buy, but what that does is give brand awareness to everybody else that we rolled out a new product. Brand awareness converges into sales because someone may go into Ulta or to Walmart or to Target and see the product and say, oh, X and X had that on their page, I may buy that. I want to get into what content creation versus influencers are because I think that became a very murky topic in this conversation. Content creation is something that really was spearheaded in the pandemic with this app. TikTok became a place that you could niche down and talk about specific things and people would follow you. And these people were able to just to make content about their daily lives, come online and speak. That's content creation. Influencing was spearheaded on Instagram. Instagram, the platform where you had to build an aesthetic, build an audience, build a directive for how your images and your videos were being put out there. And brands bought into that because you actually were able to make a brand money by pushing a product. Content creation and influencing are not one and the same. Are there people who are both? Absolutely. But are they the same? No. I think the disingenuous part of this conversation comes in because a lot of people online are simply just haters. And I'll say that with my whole chest. To say you're not pocket watching, but you are pocket watching means that you have some type of envy or jealousy to say that I think these people are making too much money because I don't think the job is real because I can't do it. They're hating because they don't understand how you are on the backside conceptualizing ideas, editing content, taking your tripod and your camera with you everywhere, pitching yourself to brands, having to argue with brands about deliverables, edits, re-edits, how the content creator or influencer is a one-stop shop. You are the content creator, you are the creative director, you are the editor, you are the shooter, you are the retoucher, you are all these things that are 8 people's jobs. So if a brand wants to pay someone $30,000 for an ad, you better believe that decision is made from the top down. And if you are Black, especially talking about Black content creators, people online that are Black get lowballed every fucking contract every year, every time. Because white people are able to come online and do nothing, which leads me to my last point. There is absolutely a monotonous kind of like homogenous way that people started making content on TikTok, especially. And keep in mind, I keep talking about the democratization of content access. Then TikTok was that, come with me while I show you guys this little hidden gem, come with me, you know, and those people don't have a sense of style, direction, or a sense of self or a point. They're not influencing though. Those people are making content to try to get followers, to try to get free meals or get paid by a restaurant or tap into a niche. That's different than influencing. I think all that to say, in a woman-dominated industry like content creation and a world that is actually giving people access to utilize their skill set and make money in this economy where going to school for 4 years to go into $100,000 in debt to get a digital marketing degree just to make $60,000 a year at an agency and not get paid for the skills you have, that's the alternative. And consumerism is not the reason that influencers exist. Like I said, it is part of a marketing budget. An influencer making an ad is no different than you seeing an ad on a bus or a subway or a TV commercial. It's the same thing. We just live in a new world where marketing has different elements that we're able to market in to the consumer. I don't know. That conversation is very weird because to say that someone makes too much money is essentially hate. You're hating on them. You're hating on them because you can't do the job and or you don't understand what digital marketing is and how these things work as a system.
I made a TikTok talking about influencers make too much money, and a lot of the girlies are like, "You're just mad because you want to be an influencer. You're just You could not influence a thirsty person to drink water. Like, what? Like, y'all think that being an influencer is just about getting people to buy stuff, or like, and y'all lives literally don't even be aspirational. Like, no, like, you're just a who gets her hair done. Like, you're just another that gets her hair done. You're just another that got her makeup done. You're just another that went to Pilates. You're just another that meal prepped. Like, do y'all think y'all are different? Like, I daily don't understand. Like, what do y'all think y'all are influencing? Do you know how many pages that you can find on TikTok that they're all posting the same shit? Y'all are not different. Y'all are not influencing nothing. Y'all are just copying other people. Y'all don't even go to Pilates because you want to go to Pilates. You go to Pilates because it's trending.
This is part of the problem with like people who are looking at business models, because if you're going to be successful at content, then you have to understand business to an extent. The truth is everybody copies everyone. Everybody. Go to your local grocery store. You have a bunch of different grocery stores in your area, but for some reason there's one particular one because of certain attributes, the way that it's laid out, the atmosphere that you prefer than the other one. What do you value? Is it lower prices? Do you value a more luxury feel? Do you value your health? And so you go to a place that's more organic options. And so things never really look that different. From a glance, they're typically the same, and there's small differences that draw you to that particular person, service, business, so on and so forth, which is also why being transparent and open is sort of a huge unlock for people who want to get into content, because no one can be you. Right? You're unique in a specific way, but there are many people who you just don't know yet who can relate to you. There's a book called Fast Food Nation. And in that book, they talk about how these different fast food restaurants, which a lot of them began in California. I think the first one was in San Bernardino, might have been a Taco Bell. Let's talk to our AI assistant barista, Ms. Coffee, here to confirm some of these things. But one of the fast food restaurants, as they're competing, incorporates a drive-through. And so what do you think the other restaurants did? Do you think they looked at them and said, oh, we don't want to be copycats. That's way too obvious if we put a drive-through here. So let's try to find another unique way we can do the exact same thing? No, they put drive-throughs at their fast food restaurants as well. And not only did they put fast food restaurants at their drive-throughs, they went to the exact same company that supplied that restaurant with that drive-through and got it at their own restaurant. Coffee, can you help me jog my memory real quick? I want to talk about the book Fast Food Nation. What was the restaurant that incorporated a drive-through first, and who copied them immediately after and even went to the same company that supplied them with the drive-through?
Yes, love. You're thinking of a key story from Fast Food Nation by Eric Schlosser, the part that digs into how the drive-through revolution started. Here's what you're remembering. The first big drive-through innovator, In-N-Out Burger, was the first major fast food restaurant to build a drive-through using a two-way intercom system. Back in 1948 in Baldwin Park, California, they designed a system that let customers order from their cars without servers or car hops, completely new at the time.
In-N-Out Burger. Okay, so it wasn't. I thought it was Taco Bell.
Who copied them? McDonald's quickly took notice. After seeing how much faster and more efficient In-N-Out's setup was, McDonald's adopted the same idea, even going to the exact same supplier that built In-N-Out's two-way intercom system. This copycat move helped McDonald's scale nationwide and make the drive-through central to its business model. Why Schlosser highlighted it, he used the story to show how the fast food industry rewards imitation over originality. Whoever systematizes and scales fastest wins, even if someone else came up with the innovation first.
Yeah. So I guess you could say that McDonald's beat In-N-Out if you're looking at it from a global scale. But at the end of the day, what do you notice? All these fast food restaurants still exist today, and they're very successful. And that speaks to being there first, incorporating what you see first, not doubting and moving with speed.
Have no actual personalities. Y'all don't actually influence shit. You guys are not aspirational at all. All y'all do is do what you know is gonna get you views. You're a boring ass. That's a copycat. Like, I'm genuinely so confused, bro. Some of y'all think you're an influencer because you post your day in a life. Don't nobody give a what you did today. Nobody cares about what you ate. Nobody cares about none of that. None of that. None of that. I'm not just being a hater, but it's like y'all have gotten way too big in the head to start thinking you're bigger than the program. If they delete this app today, what are y'all gonna do tomorrow? Start going on Indeed. Why y'all trying to act bigger than the program? Trying to act like, oh, you're the best. You're one bad month away from standing in the welfare line. Shut the up.
I mean, there is a lot of truth to people needing to think more about what would happen if they took away your monetization, right? Which is part of a huge motivation for me to build outside of just YouTube. Since I committed to letting go of my sponsors and sponsoring the channel myself, I still turn down sponsorships because it's a larger investment. It keeps me committed to making sure that I keep that alive and growing. So it's like it has to exist. I have to have another way to make money outside of just this. You just got to think that way.
Like, y'all literally are not influencers, and y'all also don't realize how much influencing has destroyed our globe. Like, the pandemic did a madness and a badness. Like,
oh wow, there's like a lot more minutes of her just going off. Damn, there's a bunch of people angry in this comment section. Do I think that influencing is overall horrible? No, I don't. You would, in order to believe that, you'd have to think advertising is horrible in general, which at that point, then you want a world where everything is free and nothing is free, which is why a platform like YouTube puts ads in their videos, because that's how they get paid. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.